KC is going back to the Super Bowl. What is going on? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today I'm taking a deep dive into the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs. So if you guys are new, would love for you guys to stick around, like, comment, subscribe. You guys know how to use YouTube at this point. We're going to break down the roster as well as go into a records predictions. Got to get it all in one video. So let's hop right into this. We're going to start out by talking about the skilled positions going to the line, and then for defense, going line to skilled positions. So starting off with the quarterback, the best player arguably in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. Super duper special. Actually, my family lives out over in Tyler as well, so got to show a little bit of love there for the homeboy from East Texas. You know, he has been phenomenal, spectacular, whatever you want to say. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. He's able to improvise better than probably anybody, and he has incredible traits. He's a good leader. He's humble, and he also has a little bit of spark to him. So I really like Patrick Mahomes overall. Yeah, he's going to get that reputation as the one guy people hate because people like to hate a winner. That's just the truth, because honestly, if you're a fan of the 31 other teams in the NFL, he's the guy that you're kind of trying to beat. So understand that. Running back wise, you got Isaiah Pacheco there. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You got other backs in that backfield as well. You have a really nice rotation. The weird thing is Clyde is, I believe, listed as RB3. And as a former number 31 or 32 overall selection, that's pretty interesting. And Isaiah Pacheco, I think, is a 7th round pick. So you got kind of the opposite there, the 7th rounder replacing the 1st. And he's been absolutely phenomenal. Love Isaiah Pacheco. Not one of those dudes who I studied. I'm just going to be completely honest, put my hand in the air, say that's on me. And, he's somebody who came out of the blue, saw him during preseason. I'm like, yeah, he has what it takes. He has that it factor. And, based on the Our Lads depth chart, which is what this is based off of, this is exactly what you can expect. And it's him being RB1. He's been awesome there for sure. Looking at the receivers, you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, free agency acquisition of last year, as well as Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. So you have some really dynamic weapons there. Rashee Rice, 2nd round pick, listed as right wide receiver number 2 behind Kadarius. Kadarius was awesome, traded the number 100 overall pick for him, and he's shown out when healthy. That's the key, though. When healthy, Kadarius Toney is the guy who got me into scouting. He was that dude. When I first started watching college football, I saw him on a kick return. I was like, I want to see where this guy goes. He looks phenomenal. And apart from injuries, you've seen what his potential could be. And I'm hoping that he ends up staying healthy, because that could be the big make or break in terms of whether you're going to get another Super Bowl. So then you look also elsewhere, Sky Moore. Got to talk about him. He should be taking a big step up this year as well. Without having Juju Smith-Schuster, it's definitely going to be a larger role that is vacant. And I think they got Rashee Rice, pony up, my buddy from SMU, to be able to come and fill that role. If you guys are interested, I have actually an interview back in 2020 when I first started my show with Rashee. So yes, he is part of the show. You guys can go check that out. It was absolutely atrocious quality, but you know what? It kind of shows how far we've come. It's been honestly one hell of a journey, but Ra was there in the beginning, and it's good to see that he's there getting his money right now. Also notable backup at quarterback for Patrick Mahomes is another SMU Mustang, Shane Buechele, so got to show some love there. But tight end Travis Kelce, one of the best in the game, if not the best, and arguably one of the best of all time. Some people say he is the best of all time. Statistically, he's been phenomenal. He's been consistent. And it's just his personality. He's no disrespect to y'all as fans of him, but I think it's pretty widely known that he's kind of a dick. And I'm not a huge fan of people with huge egos. That's just who I am. Also, probably why I gravitate a lot to Patrick Mahomes. But he has the right to have that ego. He is arguably the best, and he continues winning. So who am I to say stop being a dick? That's it. That is what it is. Left tackle Donovan Smith. The tackles are a bit of a concern here. I'm a little bit concerned, to say the least. Jawan Taylor could be moving to left tackle. That's what they said when they signed him. But Donovan Smith's on the roster. Again, I'm just parroting what Our Lads had on their depth chart. It's a projection. We don't know the actual depth chart until the regular season starts, which is why this is a way too early deep dive into it. Joe Tooney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, arguably the best interior offensive line in the NFL. Backing up Donovan Smith, apparently, is Wanya Morris, who played right tackle there at Oklahoma. I don't understand why he's listed there. Of course, Lucas Niang is that right tackle backup. So, I'm curious to see where everything ends up. There's a lot of confusion right now in terms of where these guys are going to play in terms of my understanding. And if you guys have better understanding, because I can't follow 1,000 beat writers for every single team, you guys might know that, hey, our lads, they do mess up a lot. The Eagles video, for example, they had Tyler Steen starting at guard over Cam Jurgens. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But if y'all have inside information, feel free to say it down in the comment section below. I always do this series so that I can teach you guys can teach me. And we just have better content during the regular season for it. But overall, oh yeah, you guys have John Ross as well. Forgot about that. Oh, actually, I think you do have John Ross, but you also have Justin Ross. So Justin Ross is a fun one there from Clemson. Just, that spine injury kind of set him back quite a bit. Overall, I think Rashee Rice is going to be the rookie of the year just because there's not really many other rookies to take his place. I think Jawan Taylor, with a system that's kind of used to having subpar tackle play, no disrespect, but y'all haven't had the best tackles in the world. I think that they're kind of really good. Casey's really good at being able to maximize the value of the offensive tackle. And then Kadarius Toney, again, if staying healthy, could be one of the best receivers in the NFL. Overall, I gave it a B+. I do have a little bit of a concern. I don't think MVS is necessarily a great wide receiver. There's a reason you signed him to a 3-year contract and kind of be, that big, fast dude that you just need in those tough moments. But, I'm a little bit worried as well about Donovan Smith. Don't think he's that spectacular. Looking at the defense here, you have some great pieces. Starting out with the defensive line, George Karlaftis, one of the top 10 players in that draft for me, ended up slipping to the 20s, and you guys snagged him. Wonderful pickup, and I think he's going to have a big boost this year. Derek Notty's been, for a lack of a better word, kind of mediocre. And I looked at his stats, 7 pressures, if not mistaken, last year, starting the whole time. And, that's not the end-all, be-all for sure. But he just doesn't really grade out well in anything. And he's just kind of there, which is why a lot of you Chiefs fans are saying, hey, we need to hit the D-tackle, D-tackle, D-tackle. And you got Keandre Coburn. So you definitely could end up seeing him take that step up. And I love Keandre Coburn. I don't really think he was good at much, but he's a great athlete with great size, and he had potential. So I showed some love to him. He was a top 100 player for me, if I'm not mistaken. So gotta love that one for sure. You got Charles Omenihu as well. Pretty solid, but you have a first-round selection of Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who will probably start over him. Just got to put that out there. He's a very, very good player. I like Felix. He was a top 10 guy for me before I continued watching him. He's a little too inconsistent for me. Obviously, hometown kids. That's why y'all also got him. He's a good player, but I ended up dropping him to my 50s or 60s on my board, and I think that it's a fine selection. There's nothing wrong with it. But looking at the linebackers, Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, I think Willie Gay Jr. is awesome. I don't understand why people hate on this linebacking core. To be fair, both these guys were my guys. Willie Gay was the year before I really started studying the draft, but just watching him in those little highlight clips when I used to do that was really fun. I really liked his potential, and then he, I believe, was a second-round selection. So whenever I hear a first-round player that gets selected in the second because of personality, and I always get a little bit concerned, but I look at the overall system, and I trust Andy Reid. So when I do that, it ends up usually working out. If you trust the system, usually the environment is what creates the player's attitude, and that's why you're able to see guys like Antonio Brown work so well with Mike Tomlin, because he's able to temper those attitudes. Nick Bolton was, in the first year that I was studying, my biggest guy. I love Nick Bolton. There was a rep where I saw him absolutely destroy Najee Harris. It was versus Alabama. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. I think I had him as a top 35 player on my board, and he's ended up being that good. Really talented player. Brian Cook had a couple touchdowns. He's been honestly just worse statistically overall than Justin Reid, who's been doing a great job. They're solid. Nothing I'm going to complain about, but nothing I'm really going to write home about either. I know that might temper some, or that might, flare some tempers, but I just don't really think the safety core is special. But I think they're solid for sure. I like Justin Reid, and I was hoping on the year where we got Terrell Edmonds, the Steelers, that we would have ended up getting Justin Reid instead, and we did not. Then you got Trent McDuffie, who had a pretty solid year last year as a nickelback. I didn't really like him that much myself, and that was as a boundary. So he actually played pretty well in terms of right corner. His play tapered off towards the end of the year, but he does seem to be listed at nickelback at the moment. You got Justin Watson and L'Jarius Sneed, both really talented players for sure. Other guys of note, Leo Chanel, 3rd-round selection from just a little bit over a year ago. Talented player. I think that he's going to be a beast, and he just is sitting behind 2 really good linebackers. Can't really say much more than that. Why am I forgetting the guy's first name? Williams from North Carolina. Remember seeing him at the Senior Bowl, and that dude stood out to me. I've been a big fan of him for sure. And then Drew Tranquill is an excellent backup. So your linebacker is doing very, very well. I like that depth right there. And then Chris Jones is a fucking beast. It's, I don't really need to talk about that too much. But let's jump right into the schedule. And it's not a big surprise that y'all are going to be 14-3. I don't know if y'all are going to win the Super Bowl, but I know that you're going to be in it. That's just where I'm at this moment. You and the Eagles have ended up, regaining or rebuilding your roster for competition, and don't really see that there's enough of a fall off or enough of a resurgence from other teams to truly compete with that. Detroit, I don't really think I need to explain that too much. They're a team without any wide receiver help at the moment, especially with the suspension to Jameson Williams. Then you got Jacksonville. That's a tough game. Really good team there in Jacksonville, but you're also in Jacksonville. And I know the Texas heat is a pain in the ass, and obviously y'all are pretty much just 8 hours north of me here. So y'all are dealing with it too, but the Jacksonville, this Florida mugginess, I think that might play the little minimizing factor there. Chicago, don't really think I need to explain that too much. Chicago's a rebuilding team, and I think that they'll get there eventually. New York, I think Aaron Rodgers has a growth period for sure to get back on track. Minnesota is a good team, but they have a tough schedule, and this team's just that much better. Denver, I have y'all splitting based on who's at home. Denver, on paper, again, is a studded team. I think that Russ is taking it a little bit more seriously because it's been a while since he got smacked in the mouth like that, and I think that he'll be able to at least eke out one of those wins in the Mile High. Then you got Los Angeles. I have you splitting with them as well. Los Angeles is a very, very talented roster. We'll get to them later this week as well. And LA, it's a really fun rivalry. LA definitely sometimes squeaks out a win here and there versus you guys too, as y'all are very, very much well aware of. Then you got Miami. Since you guys are at home, I think Miami could end up being better than what I'm telling people they are this year, but it's tough. It's tough. Miami's in a really tough spot. We'll talk about them in a week or so. Then you got Philadelphia after the bye. You're at home. I'm going to give you guys the dub on that one. That's definitely one that's a coin toss up in the air. The pre-Super Bowl, in my opinion. And if you guys are at home with home field advantage, I'm going to give that to you guys. Then you got Vegas and Green Bay, both teams that are struggling. But I think Green Bay is a little bit more tough because of the fact that, one, they're honestly a good team. I wanted to give them more wins than I could have. But number two, they are in a much more competitive environment there. That late in the year in Green Bay is going to be tough. Then you got Buffalo at home. So that's another reason why I'm giving it to y'all. New England, I just don't think they're that good of a team. I just don't. Then you got Vegas and Cincinnati. Already talked about Vegas. I think they're a crap team. I will also talk about that later this week. And then, Cincinnati, it's, I believe that Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. I also just believe this KC team's a little bit more balanced, and overall, I think they're just a little bit better. And then again, ending off with the Chargers, because I'll split the Chargers with you guys as well as Denver. So that is going to be the video. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.